I'm Austin Booth. I'm the director of the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. I'd like to welcome everybody to an important day for us, not only at the commission, but as a state, as the governor has proclaimed next week to be Arkansas Hunting and Fishing Week. And there was a gentleman, an author named Aldo Leopold, who said that there are those who can live without wild things and those who cannot. And Arkansas is a place for those who cannot, who love to hunt and love to fish, that love to work 40 hours a week so they can spend 20 fishing, or work 20 hours a week working so they can spend 40 hours a week hunting. Arkansas, you can harvest a bear, an elk, a deer, a goose, a duck, an alligator. You can harvest a trout. We can go on and on and on about why Arkansas is one of the best places in the world to hunt or to fish. But we recognize not only the activity, but we recognize the importance that it is to our state. Outdoor recreation, of which hunting and fishing is a tremendous part, brings roughly $9.6 billion in economic impact to our state and over 96,000 jobs. So it benefits our economy. But hunting and fishing and outdoor rec, they also directly benefit our natural resource. It is well known that whether it's ducks or deer or turkey or the health of our waters, that hunters and anglers fundamentally are the most important conservationists that we have. This is centered to what we call the North American model of wildlife conservation, and that we lean on people to be conservationists even though they don't see themselves as it. They just see themselves as hunters or as anglers. But thirdly, and most importantly, hunters and anglers, they conserve the character of the state, because anybody that has spent time fishing or hunting outside knows that it's hard and you're not guaranteed success. And through this very difficult process, we learn a great deal about who we are as people and as Arkansans. And as hunters and anglers continue to do this in their own respective passions, they not only become truer Arkansans, but they become truer Arkansans to those around them. And so hunting and fishing is tremendously important, not just to our economy, to the natural resource, but also to the character of what it means to be an Arkansan. That is at the core of what we do at the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. We conserve natural resources, but we conserve them for the benefit of Arkansans. And as long as I'm the director of the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission, we will continue to shepherd and work towards a vision of common man conservation. This notion that everything we do begins at dinner tables around the state with people from all over the state just doing what they love, hunting, fishing, hiking, and spending time outside. And so with that said, I would like to introduce our chairman, Mr. Bobby Martin.
All right, thank you, Austin. My comments will be brief, but it is my honor this afternoon for this event to be able to introduce my friend and a fellow sportsman, the Honorable Governor Asa Hutchinson. I know every one of you would carry that tagline as well. I really speak in a voice representing all 7 of our current serving commissioners, Governor, which you have appointed all 7 of us. And what we celebrate today, it's not been lost on any of us, the priority and the emphasis that you put on outdoor recreation, outdoor hunting, fishing in Arkansas. And this event has become somewhat of a tradition in our proclamation of kicking off, obviously, the National Day of Hunting and Fishing, and then a week long of engaging Arkansans all across the state in the field and our waterways and so forth. And we all know, and this is the point I would hope that we really hang on to here, we're very fortunate to have a governor that leads the way that he has. He is so influential and meaningful in conservation and outdoor recreation, and certainly, again, During his leadership as senior member of the Governor's Sportsman Caucus, we have felt the influence of his leadership there. Inside the state, we obviously see it and know it as he puts in place things that directs all of us, particularly even this year in Austin under the commission, alongside our partnership with agencies like Parks and Tourism, where the governor's really encouraged us to align ourselves more closely to really optimize and take full advantage, and then highlighting, Governor, what we all, I think, recognize as a very important step recently that you made when you created the Office of Outdoor Recreation, and what signal that really makes for all of us to work towards supporting the direction and the vision that the governor has for this state. But again, we're very fortunate, Governor, to have you. Again, nothing's been lost on any of us, the priority that you place on all this today, and it's our honor to welcome you and help us kick off this important time that we look forward to every year. So welcome the Honorable Governor Asa Hutchinson.
Thank you, Bobby, and I want to thank you for your leadership on the commission and all the commissioners that are here. As Mr. Martin said, it's really important that our independent agencies, from the Game and Fish Commission and the people of Arkansas, have given you independent authority on a very important part of our culture and our economy. And it's also important that we operate in tandem or as a team. And I want to assure all the commissioners that I've never seen us work in a better way, in a greater partnership way than we're doing right now. And it's true, Austin, as you mentioned, that the greatest conservationists are those that are outside. And those that are outside are those that are our anglers, our hunters, and they appreciate what nature has given to us and the blessings that God has given to the state of Arkansas with bountiful wildlife, bountiful, beautiful outdoors, and we enjoy that, and we want to make sure that the next generation enjoys it as well. You know, as someone who grew up in Northwest Arkansas, my dad was on the farm, and we used our .22 rifle to scare away wild dogs. We didn't have much time for hunting. We did some squirrel. But as I grew up and as I got older and was able to get out more broadly in the state of Arkansas and picked up deer hunting and duck hunting and enjoying our rivers and landing a great brown trout, those are the joys that we can have as Arkansans. And the biggest joy is not just doing it yourself, but sharing that joy with your children and grandchildren, and making sure they appreciate that in the coming generations. And so this is my 7th proclamation. I've got a couple more coming, at least one more. And it's probably one of the joys that I have, no doubt, as governor, is to be able to join in this celebration of what we have inherited here in the state of Arkansas. I have created the Outdoor Recreation Office. The lead in hunting and fishing is always the Game and Fish Commission, but we wanted to be able to have a focal point in our state to market our outdoors, because there is a great economic impact. Hunting and fishing alone brings in $4 million per day to the state's economy. Of course, as a good conservative Republican, I don't care anything about that. I do. It brings in tax revenue as well. And so what we do in our outdoor sports makes a big difference to our economy. And so let me read the proclamation, and that is to all to whom these presents come, greetings. Whereas National Hunting and Fishing Day was established in 1972 to celebrate the immense contributions to fish and wildlife conservation and to our society, and whereas Arkansas has a rich and storied tradition of hunting and angling that dates back further than the state itself. And whereas Arkansas sportsmen and women were among the first conservationists to support the creation of the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission to conserve fish, wildlife, and their habitats. And whereas those same sportsmen and women support the conservation actions of the Commission through their license fees and self-imposed excise taxes, And whereas last year alone, over 318,000 hunters and more than 507,000 anglers enjoyed the woods and waters of the state that represent a considerable portion of the $9.7 billion in outdoor recreation spending that greatly impacts our state's economy. Now, therefore, I, Asa Hutchinson, Governor of the State of Arkansas, do hereby proclaim September 19th through the 25th, 2021 as Arkansas Hunting and Fishing Week, and September 25th as National Hunting and Fishing Day in Arkansas across the state. And I encourage my fellow Arkansans to join me in recognizing the many social, cultural, economic, and ecological benefits of our time-honored traditions of hunting and angling in the natural state. And so I'll present this proclamation, but I also wanted to recognize the Game and Fish Foundation that does such a great job in printing our annual duck stamp. And so they give me the privilege of unveiling this today. And so if you'll excuse me just for one moment. This has been presented, but this is the governor's series of the state duck stamp issued by the foundation. And let me tell you, it is special, it is beautiful, and I know that this will be something that all of Arkansas will be proud.